Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nick and Jeff show. I'm Nick,
And I'm Jeff.
and we miss each other. We are very lazy. Jeffrey went to Japan. I've been very busy going back to work, and I've
being Spider-Man.
Being Spider-Man. She's 4. Yeah, actually, being Spider-Man, that explains the mark on my nose here. I've been Spider-Man 3-4 times over the last weekend, and the plastic inside the mask is rubbing against my face and giving me a. Looks like I've been in a fight, which is bizarre. But anyway, Jeffrey, what are we talking about today?
We're here because we thought, who has played the most games? What's the best games? I just thought, what games have we played the same? So I thought we'd just talk about the games of 2022.
The games,
that
and that's
played.
the thing. Yeah, I was going to say, these aren't the games that have necessarily come out in 2022. These are the games that we've played this year and that we want to talk about because the Game Awards just finished on Friday and we're like, we need to get it out of our system, what we've played and what we think.
Games.
Games. But let's get into it. I reckon we start with, maybe, not to offend anybody, the weaker of the bunch, maybe the Xbox. We go through the Xbox stuff first.
I was thinking Xbox first as well, Nick.
Okay, good.
So
okay,
yeah, you beat me to getting an Xbox, but I got one for Christmas last year, and then I think I feel like I went to town on Game Pass games.
We both did. I think for the first half of the year, I think we both played Xbox pretty hard.
And then I dropped right off.
Yeah, we both did drop right off. But let's. I'll do a quick thing with Halo. I think because I've played through all the Halo games this year except for Halo. Oh, I've written down. I think you've written down Halo ODST. I've played Reach, not ODST. I don't think.
That's your writing.
That's my writing. That's my bad. But yes, essentially played all the Halo games this year. Never played them until now.
Oh, Nick, ODST sucks, so you didn't miss anything.
That's what everyone keeps telling me. So, look, I enjoyed my time with them. I think when they came out, they would have been great for their time. Halo 1 and 2 are definitely dated now. 3 was okay. 4 was okay, but it's all over the place. The gameplay doesn't change a whole lot throughout the Halos. I don't think. What did you think? Because you played 4 and 5 this year.
I played 4, 5. I'm going to say 4, 5, and 6. I don't care about saying Infinite, but I think 4 I enjoyed. Like, yeah, this is neat. It's an Xbox 360 game, and it had looked really good still. Like the art direction was. Halo 5 I absolutely hated. I felt it was just total slogfest. I was not enjoying myself. And Halo Infinite, once you got the grappling hook, it was super fun. And I switched the games to easy. And even on easy, I died a couple times on easy, right? But it's just enemy after enemy after enemy. Like the waves of enemies do not stop. And I can only imagine how much more boring and more tedious it is on the harder difficulties.
Yes.
I just wanted to get through it.
No, yeah, I agree. That's my main gripe with the Halo games. I mean, to be fair, I think 1 and 2, even though they're dated, I think 1 and 2 have the best story. After that, it starts getting a little bit crazy. But yeah, you're right. It felt a little bit like. Do you remember what it was like playing Uncharted 1 with just
the enemies that just take forever,
wave after wave after wave of goons and wave after wave of goons, and the environments didn't change too much. I think for the first few games, and it just fighting grunt after grunt after then elite and grunt then let's say I sound pretty negative, but I did enjoy playing them. But I think Infinite or 6 was a breath of fresh air. I think after playing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, where it's all pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. Nick, tell me about 12 minutes. What was that like?
I really enjoyed 12 minutes. It took me maybe 2 hours to play from start to finish. It is ridiculous. Actually, I say I really enjoyed it. The story is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Once you find out the big reveal of what the whole time loop and what is going on with the whole thing. Great voice acting of was it Willem Dafoe?
Wow.
William Dafoe,
wow.
Daisy Ridley. Remember her from Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Yeah, and I think it was Joseph Gordon-Levitt as the main guy. So big. Yeah.
Real people.
Yeah, big actors, big names for 12 minutes, which I think that's why I was drawn to play it in the first place, is they got, real actors to...
I heard I just heard it wasn't that great. So I'm like, oh, cool.
No, the story's the most... you want a spoiler alert of 12 minutes?
Yeah, why not? Spoilers.
Turns out, from what I remember, he's actually married to like his sister. I don't know, it's very Star Wars for Daisy Ridley, but like I don't know, accidentally murdered his dad or something like that back in the day. It was like the most ridiculous thing. But essentially, you were sleeping with your own sister. That was the one thing I took away. I was like, this game's fucked.
And that's too real for you, Nick.
Well, and why is that too real for me?
I don't know, because you've got 5 sisters.
Why is, why, oh, that no.
I don't know. Let's move on. Ask me a question.
Okay, we're moving on. Okay, one game we both played, Life is Strange: True Colors. We did a spoiler cast on this.
Spoiler cast on that.
So we don't need to, I guess, talk too much about it.
I think that was like a palate cleanser. I'm like, something not shooty.
Yeah. Look, wasn't my favorite Life is Strange, but it wasn't my least favorite Life is Strange. I had fun. Did you finish Sunset Overdrive? You got Sunset Overdrive on your Xbox.
Nick.
You finished
Sunset Overdrive. Yes, I finished it. There was a lot of side quests I didn't end up doing, but I didn't care. I'm like, nah, I finished the story, got to the credits. Just seeing the skeleton of Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man 2018 or whatever, like in the game,
they did this just before Spider-Man. Yes, they did Sunset just before Spider-Man.
I could see the same animations. It had the same. If you chose the male or man-sounding voice, it was Yuri as well, the same voice actor, and like the movement was just so fun. But then I think it was about 12 hours, and I was getting over it, and like, yep, I've had my fix. It's sad it didn't sell more, or I didn't have 60 FPS boosts, but you get over that after 5 minutes.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was
fun. Okay.
I thought it was pretty good. I recommend everyone play it for just like fun times.
Speaking of not having that boost of 60 FPS, I finally got to play Quantum Break.
Does that have like another famous actor tied to it?
Yeah, it's one of the twins from he's Iceman in X-Men.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember, but yeah, he's a twin. So I don't know which one it's who, but. The game was cool. The game was alright, but man, running at 30 frames per second.
Did you have? Is it tied in with the TV show? Was that what happened?
Yeah. So you watch the TV show at the same time, and you make little micro decisions that affect, the game affects the show, or the show affects the game, and vice versa. It was a fun little gimmick, I guess. Something. They wanted to try something new and be unique. The gameplay was okay. It felt very similar to. Obviously, it was the same developers that made Control. So I saw a lot of similar elements from Control. Well, obviously, that was their previous game as well. Yeah. So not a whole lot more to say about it. It was fine. It was fun. It was probably a solid. If 5 is average, 5 is totally average. It's perfectly 5 out of 10 game. 2.5 stars out of 5. It's perfectly average.
I thought you'd play a few more sort of low key indie Game Pass games, but it doesn't. From your listening, it doesn't really seem that way.
No, not really. I played. Whose list is on? I feel like the list is a little bit mixed up here.
Yours is on the right.
So we got Tunic, and what was the other one? The one with the crow.
Death's Door. That was on Switch.
No, I played that on Xbox. You played that on Switch.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we'll just pretend that's both Switch.
That was the thing, because remember you were mad because you paid like $30 for it on Switch, and I played it on Game Pass.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah.
I can't change it in real time.
But we did another Nick and Jeff podcast about those as well. Death's Door versus Tunic. Yeah. Although to be fair, maybe you were right. I didn't see Death's Door nominated for any indie awards at the Game Awards. Was it released last year?
Forgettable. Probably. Actually, I think it was last year. Nick, I think I played a whole bunch of smaller games as well, like the Cyber Shadow indie game I absolutely loved. I died a bajillion times. Donut County, which was like a mobile game I keep seeing like cool things about. I'm like, yeah, nah. And it's like on Game Pass. It's actually really cool. It's kind of like Katamari Damacy sort of vibes. Like you make a giant black holes, and like it only starts so small and then gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you absorb like the whole town.
Okay,
that was really cool. Yeah, amazing.
Okay. Tell me
2 hours, fun times.
What would you rate Guardians of the Galaxy? Because I played that last year, and you finally got around to it this year.
You know what?
What'd you think?
Perfect Game Pass game. One, done. I think it's amazing how much they talk, more than us.
Yeah, great voice acting. Yep.
Yeah, great. I think it was probably about 5 hours too long. I think my playthrough was about 20 or 25 hours. I can't quite remember, but it was just like...
Oh, that's long. I feel like that's long.
I just felt like... is it over yet? Like, it needs to be over soon.
Okay, so just a little bit too long, but you liked it?
Yeah. Yeah, great.
I feel like I feel like it was a perfect sort of like our style of game. Just like first single player adventure game and linear story, and you go from they tell you unique things from start to finish, and I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy. It wasn't anything overly special, but I had fun.
The other one on my list is Undertale, Nick. I'm so glad I've done that. I've experienced Undertale. Yep. I don't have a desire to do his other games, but now that I know Toby Fox, heard all his music, see what his game style was, hear all his music in Pokemon Violet and Scarlet, like you can hear the Toby Fox style in all the music. So I'm totally happy. But Nick, I think our Xbox time is done. We've got 40 minutes. Okay, so move on to the next platform.
I was gonna say there's really, I had fun with my Xbox. It was mainly the Halos. I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh, we've got so many games to talk through with let's
move on. Do you want to go Switch or PS5?
Maybe we'll take a break like halfway through Switch. But okay, so I want to ask you about Bayonetta 3 because you didn't finish. How many hours do you reckon you played of Bayonetta?
I'm gonna say 6 to 8 hours of Bayonetta 3.
Okay, how long is it supposed to take to finish?
I'm guessing 15 hours, 12 to 15 hours. I haven't looked it up top of my head.
Okay, that's just a guess. Yeah.
You know what? Like, I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it all, but then I just get sidetracked.
Yeah, had no desire to go back. Do you have a desire to go back to it?
Well, I do want to go back to it, but I just haven't made time for it, right? And Pokemon was just so much better. Nick, Pokemon Legends was this year. This year.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I can't believe it was this year. It feels like a lifetime ago.
We did a podcast on Pokemon Legends.
We absolutely did a podcast for Pokemon Legends. I loved it. Now playing Scarlet, I'm so disappointed. Like, we got Legends with 2 steps forward, 1 step to the side, and then Scarlet's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 to the side. It's just like Pokemon is just doing the cha-cha all day long with its
funny because
series.
I played Pokemon Violet like it was Pokemon Legends, but you just couldn't capture Pokemon that way. Like, to me, I was like, I wanted to catch them all, but it was sad you couldn't do like little dodge and hop around their back and sort of stealthness.
But especially see, I don't know. It's one of the things I think you can tolerate it a little bit more. But for me, when a game is so chuggy, I can handle bugs and like things like when things are glitching out and flying all over the screen, or like people are disappearing and fading in and out. That stuff's fine. That doesn't bother me. But when the game is running poorly, when it's running at like 10 frames a second, or like anything less than 60,
have you got to the water area yet?
No. But when anything runs less than 60 frames a second, it really bothers me. And especially after going... Like, I played God of War before Pokemon, so playing God of War and then Sonic. And Sonic runs at a smooth 60 frames a second. It's so fast as well. Like, things pop in and out. Like, the draw distance is ridiculous. The game's built for Switch, not PS5. But
it's
still... It still runs at a smooth 60 frames a second.
It's crazy how I got over it so fast. Just... soon as you got your Miraidon, I'm like, damn, like it's just so fun jumping around everywhere. Like, I only got frustrated when I was in a water area, and the whole game I felt like everything it got slower. Like, it wasn't like choppy frame rate. It was just like the whole game slowed down.
Right.
That's the only time, and it's quite funny. Everyone goes about on all the glitches and stuff, and then I play God of War. And all of a sudden, I don't know, Kratos was on like a stair or something, or in a corner, and he jittered, like his whole body jittered around everywhere. And I'm like...
and you're just disgusted.
And I'm like, my quadruple A experience is ruined. Like, I thought it was quite pretty funny. Like,
yeah, I don't know, like with
video games, they're difficult to make.
With Pokemon, I'm playing it as it's currently like my side game. I'm playing it in chunks because the big long bursts of time for it really it frustrates me just how poorly it runs. It really does. I can't stand it. Especially like even Arcues, people ranted and raved about how ugly it was.
Fine. It was just they thought, the ground is so ugly.
Yeah, that's the thing. People were ranting about how ugly it was. How it looked didn't bother me. How the game looks does not bother me. How the game runs, that matters. I feel like that's so much more important. You can make a game look however you want, but if it runs poorly,
So game's running well, Nick.
Yeah.
We both. I did my first Monster Hunter ever. I broke my virginity. I beat that game.
Well, let's not get carried away. You beat the tutorial.
I reached the credits. I beat the game. I did it.
Well,
I've played Monster Hunter.
And that's never going to go away. But you know what? That's a win for me. That is a mass win for me. I'm glad you did it. As far as Monster Hunter fans are concerned, we only did the low rank quests, so that's only, as far as I'm concerned, it's still the tutorial of the game. But you still got to feel what that was kind of like. You got to go out and hunt monsters.
I can't remember. I think I must have had the dual blades, maybe.
Yeah, you use
and you were using like the pipe
insect
thing, bug weave or something. Cleave.
Insect glaive.
No, insect glaive. But I just remember I just conquered the moveset of the dual blades.
Yeah.
And I felt like, damn, this is so cool. But then I'm like, cool, I'm also done. I'm happy.
That's right. I'm happy you got it, and I'm happy we played it. I'm happy we got to ride on the doggos. I know you were happy customizing your giant Jengo.
Yeah.
And it was
maybe that's why I liked Pokemon Violet as well.
Maybe that's why, I don't know. But it was nice to finally see you after I've been playing Monster Hunter for about 17, 18 years now, to finally see you pick up and play one and have some credits roll. It was good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I don't know, would you be interested in picking up another one in the future, in a few years on PS5 when one comes? Maybe.
Well, Monster Hunter Rise is coming to PS5.
I don't know if you want to do it again, but
no, definitely don't. Nick,
maybe
you've got
day.
a few games here that are similar. The roguelike.
Yes.
I don't know what everyone would call it. You got Hades again. Let's not talk about that and you've got Dead Cells, which it's older, but you've obviously played it. Cult of the Lamb.
Yep.
And those three. And Slay the Spire.
Yes.
Tell me about the rogueness that you're enjoying.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah, I can't believe how much I must seem to like roguelikes unintentionally. Slay the Spire I did play on mobile. I think I'd sent you a screenshot. I played
that
60
mobile
hours.
phone, was it? I wasn't sure.
I played about 60 hours on mobile. I've absolutely loved it.
How much does it cost on the phone?
It was like $10, I think.
I hear great things.
I feel like it might. Actually, I feel like I might be doing that. I feel like it might be even cheaper than that. I really like it, but it's a card game for one, so that no more Hearthstone for me. So Slay the Spire has replaced it with a card game. I like card games. I like strategy games. I like turn-based games. What you get to think. So Slay the Spire, fantastic. If you need something cool to play on mobile, would recommend. Hades I put on there because I did play probably another 30 hours of it. It's awesome. You don't, easy.
What was your goal to do in Hades?
There's statues you can unlock once you reach heat level. So I've only reached, with all the weapons, I think I've gotten to the max level of about 14. There's one for 15 and there's one for 20.
I think I've got to like heat 4 maybe, or heat 5, and you have to quite a lot of sacrifices or negative effects on you.
Oh yeah, it gets hard. And I've got maybe like 6 or 7 things left to buy in the shop. Like I've bought so many things. I
didn't buy a single one of those things that was it was like 100,000 currency or whatever for like
and that's things
make the drapes purple.
And some of those $100,000 things I bought. Like I played a lot more Hades. So you Slay the Spire, Hades. What else would you say?
Cult of the
Dead
Lamb.
Cells, Cult of the Lamb. Fantastic game. It was nominated for some awards. My friend Gage from work recommended it to me. He said it's like a satanic Animal Crossing, and That's the best way to describe it. It's a mix of Animal Crossing, building a satanic little town, running the cult that I created of Mormonism, and then going out and going and enslaving more people, well, recruiting more people to join the cult. I absolutely loved it. If you're into any sort of Tim Burton type of stuff, I think it's a fantastic game. Animal Crossing, but for adults. I loved it. And yeah, Dead Cells. It's been a game that I've just sort of been playing in random little bursts in spare time. Like, I've got an hour spare, I'm going to play some more Dead Cells, and I'll do like 2 or 3 runs.
I feel like I beat Dead Cells a couple of years ago, right? But then I think there's been so many expansions, both free and paid.
Yeah.
And I think I'm like, cool. I beat it. It took me a long time to beat. I think probably like 50 cycles or whatever deaths. I think you'd beat it a lot faster than I did.
Well, I haven't beat it yet.
Credit first round of credits or whatever. You definitely
maybe, I don't know. That's the thing. I do like it, but it's also when I've got Hades there and there's still more things in that I want to do, I'm like, maybe some more Hades. But Dead Cells is still really, really good. But so that's my roguelikes. But what about, I want to ask you, so you've got, I know I've sort of brought it up before, but you've got a few games on your list that you didn't finish. So Persona 5 Royale, so I know you've played Persona a few times. Yeah,
so I played vanilla Persona 5, so, I got really excited about Royale. I want to play it. I think I'm still only up to the first dungeon or whatever, but the tutorial is just so long, right? Like, it feels like it's 10 hours before you sort of gotten free reign. It is. It feels like it's about 10 hours. The social links, when you can go to the dungeon yourself, and do everything. And then I didn't even get up to that first bit because Persona 5 Royal came out, Bayonetta 3 came out, and so did Mario plus Rabbids. And so those 3 games really close together, and I'm like, I'm going to play a bit of each. And that's my downfall, right? And then I can't be bothered. And like, I paid full digital price for Persona 5. In less than 60 days, it was 30% off or whatever. Same with Rabbids. Like,
that's rough.
They're just like, it kind of makes me mad. Like, I'm not gonna play you now. I don't know why for, but all those games I like. Rabbids is really good. Yeah, but I feel like I would do like a couple missions, and I'm like, I think I'm up to the 3rd out of the 5th world. Okay. And I'm just like, cool. That was fun. Like, that's really neat. That's a really good strategy game, and I'd enjoy it. And then I'd be like, cool. I'll just do something else, right? Yeah. It's feeling like small bursts, and then I think Bayonetta came out. I'm like, that's only 12 hours. Mario plus Rabbids is 35. I'll try and do Bayonetta first, and that was just. Clearly I haven't finished any of them. So
you screwed me a little bit because I told you I wanted to take a little bit of a break from Pokemon and play some of the Callisto, which I'll get to in a second. But you told me, it was in the chat somewhere, you said Callisto is like 8 hours, and I've played about 6 hours of it, and I looked it up today, and I'm like, how long to beat Callisto? And it's like 20 hours. So I'm like, no. That's like, I committed.
Reviewer said like 8 to 10 hours.
Oh, really?
It's an IGN review.
I don't know. Maybe it could be longer. I don't know. But
maybe they don't do it. Yeah. But don't you just go forward in this game? Like, go left or right, and then just keep going forward. Like,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But okay, so will you go back and finish Mario and Rabbids?
You know what? I absolutely want to. Okay. What am I playing on Switch at the moment? I don't know.
Pokemon? No, you're not playing anything on Switch. You're playing God of War.
I somehow put 60 hours in a week, 50 hours in a week playing Pokemon, and I think I just got burnt out on Switch.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Nick, there's 3 games there that I thought you'd ask me about.
I know. Well, I want to. I'm getting there. So, first of all, I know you want to talk about the other, but first I want to talk about, you've got on there the original Legend of Zelda.
Yes.
Did you finish it? You finished it.
I finished it. I'm glad I did it. It has obviously aged horribly, right?
No, it hasn't aged horribly.
No. So I had to look up a guide a lot of the time.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Heaps. Yeah. And what I find really hard is, I abuse save states, right?
Yep.
Because you can die so easily.
Yes.
And I feel like I was just like, nah, I'm rewinding time or whatever, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's just like man, would this artificially lengthen the game because you just die so much? You just take damage so easily. But I looked up a guide for a lot of things, And I'm just like, how would I ever figure that out?
Yes. Well, that's
Like,
this is like
I don't like every wall I would bomb, right, as well.
yeah.
I'd bomb every wall. Like, I would not look in a guide, I'd be like, cool, bomb. Like, 3 of the walls.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, oh, cool, I'll rewind because clearly none of those walls are bombable. And you don't get many bombs all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, that's how I played the game.
See, I want this Jeffrey that's talking to me right now to pause time and talk to the same Jeffrey that was talking to me about Tunic and how great Tunic was. I swear, like, the original Legend of Zelda and Tunic are so cryptically like, what is going on? And they're like hard and have so much in common. In this way, I'm just like, ugh. But I'm really glad you played the original Legend of Zelda, because I haven't played number 2. I think that's the only Zelda game I haven't played. But I did original one back on 3DS, and it's cool to be able to say that.
Does the 3DS have the rewind feature?
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
or the save states. Okay.
Yeah, it did. So it's cool to be able to like play that and see like where Zelda sort of started and where it finished. And I remember I pulled up the map and it's like had all the dungeons. It's like number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. I'm like, okay, cool. At least I have a map of where to go. But still, other things I had to look up.
I saved the map as a hot thing, shortcut on my phone whenever I played. So,
okay,
yeah,
now
it was.
Now, none of these were on my list, but you played 3 of them this year. So, and I'm not a fan, even though he's tattooed on me. I'm not that big a fan of Kirby. So, first of all, tell me which one of the Kirby games was your favorite, and then, do you want to start with your least favorite or your favorite?
Well, Kirby Superstar, same thing. So that's like 7 different games.
Oh,
they're all like mini games, and they're not mini games. They are like they're just variations of Kirby games.
Oh, is that the free one?
Some are like 2 minutes. Some are like 2 hours, right? But there's like 7 of them there. There's one mini game. It's like a samurai showdown, and it's like whoever can press the button first, like a Mario Party mini game timer. And I feel like it's down to the 1 millisecond time, like to get the ultimate one.
Right.
And I would abuse the save states and just keep trying till I got like the absolute perfect score. But it still really holds up. Like Kirby Superstar has all these power-ups, right? Heaps of them. And I sort of forget like all these Smash Bros things and like Smash Bros levels, music, and items that all come from these original Super Nintendo Kirby games. So really cool.
Yep.
Kirby's Dream Buffet. I thought this is probably like in my mind. Maybe it was like a multiplayer aspect added to Forgotten Land, and they're like, no, we can sell this for $20 down the track by itself. But yeah, so like it's cool. I wish it was better party multiplayer. It's built for online.
Okay.
But so that's like but then Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So
that's
good,
the best
Nick.
one. That's
the best one. So much fun. Like just after Elden Ring, I needed Kirby. Right? I needed Kirby. Kirby made me so happy. And like Kirby is like the game's easy, right?
Yeah.
But then there's all these extra challenges and stuff built into the game.
Yeah.
And like those challenges are difficult. They're quite hard. And then every second stage there would be like a Mario stage 1-off. Like here's this one item, go to town on this 30-second time limit on this one item or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so good and just made me so happy. And then there was like a post game as well, and that like it remixes all these levels and merges them together, and you get new items. Like you just constantly get new weapons, and it's like, cool, you finished the game. Oh, you finished the post game, like the extra levels and extra story. Get 100%, and the game like it's like you can do it. Get 100%. Like it's just I'm like
the game wants you to get 100%.
The game wants you to get 100%, and there's like a whole Gashapon capsule machine, like random chance stuff. There's fishing mini games. Every level has challenges, and it's like you can do it. Get 100%, and then you get 2 exclusive like super weapons that like combine the powers of like all these hammers and all these sword power ups. one's day-to-days, one's meta nights or whatever, and like then you just go obliterate all the levels you sort of didn't get all the final challenges, and you just clean up and like it's just.
Did you buy it physically? Did you buy it physically? Okay, cool.
I thought, Andrew bought it for me because I'm like, Kirby. Like, I'm not going to buy that digitally. I'm going to pay that and sell. Like, it's not good enough. Like, and now it's physical. I'm like, I should have bought it digital. But now anyone can borrow it. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
Okay. Look how happy this has made me thinking about Kirby.
Okay, no, that's good. That's 3 Kirby games. I was like, I know you were really happy about one, and I've heard I listen to Kind of Funny all the time, and they ranted and raved about Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So, and you seem to love it.
Best family game, Nick.
It did win. It did win award for best family game. So I'm going to have to borrow that off you, and I will play that. That'll be on my list for next year. But actually, speaking
again,
about
it's something. I don't think it's something you can binge. Like,
okay,
if you play a couple levels, you'd be like. It's just like, cool, I'll play a few levels before bed. And that's it. Like, you can't do it for hours.
Speaking about how the game wants you to get 100%, it was on my list and then I took it off and I couldn't remember why. But this year we got all of the spirits in Smash.
Oh, yeah! What? Yeah, why did we write that?
I don't know. It was on my list and I was like, why did I put Smash Brothers down? But like we probably played 100 hours of Pikmin this year together. And, obviously a bunch of Smash together. But it was on my list because we got all the spirits.
And now Smash Bros 100%, woo, woo, woo! Which we also did a podcast about.
Yeah, we also did a podcast about that.
Nick,
let's see. Let's talk about.
You got one more on here.
Oh yes.
Nintendo Switch Sports and Mario Strikers, but I want it. Well, I know with time we'll probably. I reckon we'll split this episode or whatever.
We'll finish.
Come back, but like,
yep.
But I want to talk about those 2 games in the next podcast. I got the idea for the next podcast. So
okay, is it like waste of money? Waste of money games?
Don't spoil. You'll have to tune in next week. Subscribe to find out.
Here's what Nick's wasted his money on.
What about what comes after? What's that? You got that on your list?
I bought that. It was like a $2 Switch game, and I bought it because it just looked like a fun little story game, and that's literally all it is. It's just like the girl. She falls asleep on a train, and then she wakes up on the train of the train of people going to the afterlife, people that have died, and so you literally just it takes like 2 hours to beat, maybe an hour. Like an hour to beat, and you walk from one side of the train to the other, and you talk to animals, you talk to people, you talk to children, like just all these sorts of things that have like plants, things that have died, and they talk to you about their lives and what it was like, and you come across this elephant who was like, oh yeah, they used to make me do tricks and stuff in a zoo, and it was an okay life, but I'm glad I'm kind of out of that now. It was very sort of like solemn and. But I really enjoyed it because when I was in Tasmania and I was in the middle of the woods and I was doing my 4-day hike, that was the thing that I'd play for 20 minutes each night when I get in my cabin and it's all dark and I just sit there with my Switch and just read these stories about death. So it's I'm spending a lot of time on a
that seems really
Switch
really
game.
sweet actually.
It was really peaceful, and it was really just like, oh wow, this is I wasn't expecting this game to be as deep as it was. It's very
there's another game like that. Well, I don't know if it's like that, but Spiritfarer or something like that. Like it was on Switch and then it was on Game Pass. I'm like, I can't be bothered with whatever Spiritfarer is, but it sounds similar but not.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as far as Mario Strikers and Switch Sports are concerned, like that, we had a couple hours of fun. Maybe didn't get our money's worth out of them, but they are what they are. I do still want to do a Nick versus Jeff on Mario Strikers, even though like neither of us can remember how to play or what's going on, and also Switch Sports and golf. The Switch Sports and golf.
Sports golf. Nick, we haven't to talk about it, but we both played Splatoon 3.
Yes.
Did you finish the single player?
Did not. I'll get to that.
So you played the multiplayer though, or it's just on your list?
I played about 20 hours of the multiplayer.
Oh, that's probably a lot more than me. I finished the single player. I really enjoyed it, but I can't see myself coming back for the multiplayer a lot. I don't know. I find I die a lot.
Yeah, I mean, well,
and
like
I feel like I wish we played together more. I feel like that would make it more like enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I think our multiplayer spirit, timelines, cycles syncing up or whatever, it's not happening.
But
for
also,
us.
we struggled to connect simultaneously. Like we were having connection issues a lot of time, and we just sort of were like, ugh, it just kind of left a bit of taste in our mouths. I think a little bit from at least at the start. But I mean, I played 120 hours of Splatoon 2, but I didn't touch the single player until like 2 years after the game came out, and after I'd already played 100 hours of the multiplayer. So I like to think I'm hopeful that whether it's a year from now, 2 years from now, I will jump in and play that Splatoon 3 single player. But,
I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. Like, same thing. You just do 2 levels before bed or whatever, just like when you had a little bit of spare time. And every, I think there's like 6 areas. The paint would stay, as long as you haven't turned the game off. Like the paint would stay wherever you painted it in the main area.
Oh, that's
cool. And there's all these little challenges in each main area to get the balloon. And you have to zip around the map from each level. Like it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
But Nick, I got one last thing. Pokemon Puzzle League. I finished it on Nintendo 64. I think I finished it on like normal or easy, and it was like, now try for the real game on hard. I'm like, nope, got the credits done.
I'm done. Thank you. Well, before we go as well, I would like to give a quick shout out to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. Yeah. It's very similar to like the early 90s arcade game that everyone loves, that arcade box. I mean, it is a throwback to that, and I loved it. I've played you can have I think 7 people play. So I played with my family, so all of us sitting there with the Joy-Cons.
Wow.
Yeah. Because you can,
that's a lot.
You got it's 6 people. You got the 4 turtles, and then you can play as April and Splinter. So, but it's really
I think
cool.
I played a couple levels on Xbox, and I thought this was neat, and that was it.
Yeah. It has an arcade mode. It has a story mode as well with like level up RPG elements for the turtles where they get new abilities and everything. I really, really enjoyed it. Like just fun little, like the music is fantastic, and it was also nominated for I think best party game or best family game or something like that. It definitely deserves a good mention there because it really flew under the radar I think, but it was so good. It's so good. If you like turtles or beat 'em up games, would recommend. But
Nick, we're going to come back for another 20 minutes of PS5 right after these messages.
Yeah, time for a break. See you in a sec.
We're back, and we're going to talk about the PS5 games we played, Nick.
Hopefully you enjoyed your Gatorade in that break, and now we're gonna drive it home. Hopefully, we've done like 15 minutes for Xbox, and about 25 for
Switch. But now
Switch.
on to PS5. I think your list is twice the size of mine, Nick.
Well, I can get the crappy ones sort of out of the way first. So
tell me about the Quarry.
The Quarry.
What is the Quarry?
It's
that's the Until Dawn people, isn't it?
I don't know if it's the same team, but it feels like that's how I would describe it. It's a poor man's Until Dawn. It just wasn't as fun. Everything was really slow. The characters were even less interesting. I don't know what hooked me about Until Dawn a few years ago.
You know what? It was 6 years ago. The heroes, Hayden Panettiere.
Hayden Panettiere, yeah.
Yeah, she was like the main-ish character in Until Dawn.
Yeah.
I obviously I haven't paid any attention to the Quarry, so I don't know.
But yeah, I did two chapters of the Quarry, and I just wasn't. I didn't find any of the characters interesting. Like the camera was very Resident Evil style, camera on the wall, walking, and it was just everything was just very slow, and I gave up after 2 chapters because it just wasn't interesting enough.
And what's this Warhammer game? Like I haven't really heard you express interest in Warhammer a lot.
So my dear friend Naf, it'd been a while since we'd hung out, so
I can see Naf as a Warhammer person. Yes, absolutely.
Hi Naf, a bit of a Warhammer
thanks
person.
for listening.
But I was like, we need to hang out. So he came over and we were looking for something to play. So and we're looking on the PlayStation Store, and the Warhammer Chaos Bane was on sale for like $15, and it's very similar style to like Diablo. So top down sort of dungeon crawler, but it's all Warhammer themed. Yeah. So we had a bunch of drinks and we played that for a bunch of hours, but it was just like it didn't save because he was playing as a guest on my PlayStation. So we played a few hours. We played a few hours and then we lost his save, and then we had to like create another character for him and lost it again, and it was just like.
Does that mean like as the guest character he was sort of weak and like?
Yeah, he then went back to level 1 and like lost all his gear, lost his character, and it just the game was fine. Like it was a $10 game. The voice acting was not good. It just was like, okay, this is a poor man's Diablo. That's what it was. Anyway, moving on. Ghostwire. I had high hopes for that one, and it was just like all games are repetitive. We can all agree on that. Yeah. That's what games are. But it's whether or not the gameplay loop is exciting and fun and addictive. And Ghostwire was just not fun. It was very flashy. It had some cool stuff going on. It had some cool ideas. But it almost felt like it just unfinished kind of tech demo type of thing.
Do you think if like you've got to be really into Japanese cultural things to sort of get more out of it?
Maybe. I mean, I enjoyed that stuff, but it was just the gameplay of like the faceless enemies that were all the same and all the same animations and the same yanking their heart out over and over again. It just wasn't. It looked really cool in the trailers, and then it was sort of.
Maybe one day it'll be on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus Premium,
maybe
Essential tier, whatever.
What was another one? Gotham Knights. I played 9 hours of Gotham Knights. And
so you didn't finish it?
No.
I thought you finished it. And you tried to trade it in for $12.
No, so I tried to trade it in because I was like, I'm not going to finish this. It's not as fun as Spider-Man. I know people are like, oh yes, of course Nick thinks that, but like, man, these characters are slow and sluggish, and their Batmobile is boring to drive around.
Did you look up the ending at least?
Nah, I don't care enough. I don't know, but that's
do you want to be spoiled? Can we spoil it?
Nah, well that's the thing. Since the game traded for like 12, yeah, since the game traded for $12, I was like, I'll just hold on to it, and maybe next year there'll be a dry spell again, and I'll pick it up and keep playing. Maybe just out of spite because I paid so much for it. But
just like you did with Horizon, Nick. I'm like, okay, we know you didn't play Horizon. Oh, you've played Horizon. You didn't like it, but you got the platinum. Like, you need to get that platinum for vengefulness. What I'm kind of shocked, like, I love those big PlayStation adventure games, right? Yeah. And I haven't had any desire to play it. I just find that really sort of fascinating for some reason. And, like, your misery brings me enjoyment. Like, that makes me happy. But, like, as does why have I wanted to skip this game, like, entirely? I just thought it was kind of weird.
Well, I almost, how like we have this thing back and forth where like my misery brings you pain, your misery brings me pain. I almost wanted you, because we've done this before. I can't remember which games it's been for, but like I really am not even though I got the platinum, I'm not a fan of Horizon, and I thought you would pick it up and play it just because you're like, oh man, I can't wait to love it so much more than what Nick hated.
Yeah, it would make me love it more. I think because you traded it in.
No, I still have it. Did I trade? Oh no, did I? Oh yeah, I did. Sorry, that's my bad. Yeah, I was like, Jeffrey doesn't need to play this. You don't need this in your life.
I was excited for the Game Awards announcement of the expansion or whatever, the sequel in Hollywood, Los Angeles or something. And I feel like, maybe I should just play like the bite-sized version of whatever this is going to be, or probably the 10-hour adventure instead of 40. But it will be so difficult. And you'll have to know all the systems, which I won't, so I won't be able to play it.
Okay, well, we've talked about too many things on my list for a little while. So this year was the year. That's the game. That's the example. A game that I hated so much, so I was like, no, I don't need this in my life. I'm done. Sekiro. This year you played it, and then you played it again just to spite me.
Yeah, I played like another 12, 15 hours, or no,
crazy.
Much, like to capture all the footage because I'm like, I love this game so much. I wanted to make a video about it, a video that no one's gonna watch because the game is a couple of years old, and I think I liked it more than Elden Ring.
Oh damn. Okay.
Like, obviously it's the same developer as well, but From Software, amazing. I think it was just such a tight adventure, and like I knew I could do it, and like, it It was great. I really enjoyed it, and I think it was also they're like, I want to try and find this game for cheap, and I wasn't able to find it for like quite a few months. Like it just sold out everywhere in Australia. No one had it for.
I remember your journey. You for months you were like keeping an eye out for it. Like, is it? What time? What price?
And it's
is
like,
it?
$50. All right, fine. Like on digital, like that, and I'm totally happy for it. So yeah, like I think I'm really glad I can say like, oh, I am a hardcore gamer. Like I can do these crazy difficult games, and all these people also played Elden Ring too. So a lot of people are hardcore gamers.
For me, it was one of those things. Like I feel like I played 5 or 6 hours of Sekiro, and the combat never got any easier. Like I never felt comfortable with any of it. Like at least with Elden Ring, I get to a difficult area and I'd take me a few tries, but I get better and I get better and I get better. And I feel like with Sekiro, it just never clicked for me. Things just never fell into place, and I just got so frustrated. And I was just like, no, I'm done.
The rumor the rumor is, Nick, the parry system. Like I don't know if this is real or not, but like the parry system got easier because on PS5 it's 60 frames per second, whereas everywhere else it was 30, right? And so when you parry, you'd actually have double the amount of parry timing window to parry, so it'd be easier. Like maybe it's a placebo effect or whatever, like it's probably not real, but maybe that made things feel better.
Maybe.
Don't get me wrong, I died more on Sekiro bosses than Elden Ring bosses, like for sure.
Oh wow. Okay.
Absolutely.
And you still reckon you might like Sekiro more? Maybe.
Yeah.
But they're both like way up there for you.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Okay. Well, I am very proud. Well, look, if you've made it this far in the video, like we're 45 minutes in, like I still have no interest in going back to play Sekiro, but like, damn, go and watch Jeffrey's video that he made of playing Sekiro, because you can see. Like first of all, there's a lot of effort and time put into that video, but I think it's one of the best video. I think it's one of the best videos we've put out, or you've put out this like ever. I think it's really well edited, it's really well filmed, everything you talk about, and you're really excited and really passionate about it. I think it is one of your best videos. So like, if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Thanks, Nick.
It's awesome. What else do we want to talk about?
Nick,
so Last of Us,
you replayed. You got to get some comfort food here. I felt
did,
like
yes.
you had wasn't Final Fantasy VII Platinum this year, or was that a different year?
Or I can't remember. Well, maybe I did Platinum this year.
But you've got Jedi Fallen Order on your list.
Yeah,
so was that a Platinum?
I did Platinum.
That was a replay?
Yeah, it was a replay and a Platinum. Final Fantasy VII, I'm not sure if I did that last year or this year, but I did get the Platinum for that as well. But this year, definitely Jedi Fallen Order. I wanted to play that again, and I loved it. The game is still just as good the second time around. I remember there were a few headaches with getting like items that I missed the first time when I played it on PS4, that I was like, I don't want to go back and do that. No,
it would have had a PS5 update too, right? I think
it did. Yeah, it did. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I played it, because I played like the PS5 upgraded version.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still had a couple headaches with getting a couple little items towards the end for the Platinum, but overall, that game is just like, it is just so good. It just best Star Wars game I've ever played. And I went back and watched my review of it.
Better than Pinball?
Better than Pinball.
Also, a really great video done by Nick. I like
I think it's just because it surprised you so much out of nowhere.
It really did.
But, yeah. But I want to talk about, you've got on your list here The Last Guardian. Did you finish that?
Yes. I think that was a COVID game.
Wow.
I had COVID and I played Last Guardian, something on Xbox, something annoying, and then I'm like, and then I did Banjo-Kazooie, and I'm like, the Banjo-Kazooie was just the comfort food. Like, I needed to get through everything.
Because Last Guardian, I played it when it was released, 7 years ago, whatever it was. And but I feel like you didn't really talk about it. I guess maybe because you were dying with COVID, you just didn't want to do anything. But what do you think? What do you think?
What a journey that game is, like, of pure frustration and like awe-inspiring amazingness. Like there was a number of times.
It does both, right?
Yeah, like controlling the Guardian, or giving him direction. You'd be like, what the hell? Fucking bird dog thing. Just jump through the hoop the wall, the crack, or whatever, and like I would Google where do I like I know what to do. Like he's just not doing it. And it's I would look up the YouTube, like stand in this exact spot and then do it 3 times.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad you had the same headaches and frustrations that I did. They didn't patch any of that over the last 7 years.
And I don't really have a lot of other bad memories. Like I don't remember it was really being repetitive or too frustrating because you don't play as the bird dog, you play as the little boy. Like, it's just
the boy.
It feels like a lot of it's standard, AAA climbing sections. If that makes sense. Like every AAA game has these climbing sections. You do. There's a lot of that. But yeah, like the Guardian was just awesome. Like so cool, and the crazy sort of ending, sort of sci-fi-ish area. And trying to figure out, and interpreting your own story, and then me looking up all these different YouTube theories about it all too. Like, it was really damn, like that was a great experience, and it wasn't too long. I think it was like less than 10 hours.
Yeah, it was about 8 hours, I think, for me as well when I played it.
Great.
I think the game
frustrating. Great.
Yeah, for me, I just remember the game being on both ends of the scale. I'm like, this game is fantastic, and this game is atrocious and terrible. Like, it wasn't really, it was like, oh, this is a pretty average game. I was like, this game is amazing. Oh, this is the worst game I've ever played in my life. And it fit both. But one thing that stuck with me is when I listened to one of the podcasts, they had the game director on, or like someone translator. And,
oh, wow, yeah.
And he talked about how, when you first start the game, the first few hours, and even sort of up until maybe the last couple hours, when you tell the guardian, the bird dog, to do things, you'll struggle, and he won't.
Terrico.
Yeah, that's right. He won't always do what you're telling him to do. But then, did you notice that by the end of the game, you found that you were better, and like, and the director was like, oh, that's because,
of course, I did see that, absolutely.
And he was like. Greg joked about how it was their way of, I guess, explaining away their terrible programming, but it's more like as you play the player, you get to understand how badly the game mechanics are, and so you kind of work how to like play the game properly. And the game director's like, oh no, you build a bond with Trico, you build a bond as the game grows, and so he listens to you more. No. When you get closer to the end, you know how the friggin' idiot works, and you know what to do to control him.
Absolutely. And I think there was one section of the game where I had like gone back, and there's not really going back, but like I had gone back to all this giant area. It was a very late game, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, and then I realized I just missed a turn or a jump or whatever, but I had gone all this way, like, I don't know, let's just say 10, 15 minutes backwards. Yep. Like, that's a long time to, like,
that is a long way. That is a long way.
Turn around and do it all again. Because normally the game doesn't let you go backwards, really. You just go forwards the whole time. But yeah, and there's one point at the game, it's like, Terrico will now listen to you more thoroughly. Like, you can point, and I'm like, no, it's just because... Yeah. Everyone should experience this game, I feel like.
Good music.
I think it's... yeah. Oh, yeah. Great.
Anyway, moving on. Let's move on.
From one bird, dog, guardian animal to the cutest cat. I haven't heard you talk about Stray. Yes.
Have we talked? Yeah, we never ended up doing a podcast about Stray, did we?
No.
We wanted to. We didn't. Yeah, too late. We missed the boat. What a great game. Like, it was just like, it's not like I feel like it's one of those games we'll remember in a few years and just be like, oh, remember Stray? Remember how good that was? The little cat game that could, right? Like, just.
And I really liked the story. Like, it was really good.
Yeah, just helping out the little robots and afraid of the little creatures, and the cat gets a little torch, a UV torch on his back that can do things. But just you have a little robot friend that you care about. Oh. It was just great.
He sacrifices himself.
He sacrificed himself. Oh my god!
I love games like, because this is another game where you're generally moving forward. Like, you do come back to areas a few times, but like the further you progress, you can like see where you've been in the game. Like, you can't go back.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love that feeling. Like, oh, there's that cesspool tower. Oh, there's the little town. Oh, there's the tree.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I've been looking up here the whole time, and now I'm here, and now I'm looking down. Like, I really love that design.
If we were handing out Game of the Year awards, like I feel like this would win, like best indie, most unique, like most innovative, just like something new and different. It's unlike anything else on all the lists. Like you play a game as a cat, and it's actually a good game. Like a game where you play as a cat, people will be like, "This is probably like some $2 piece of crap." No, it's a really well polished, well thought out, well written, animated.
Did you like the jumping?
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, very nimble cat.
I was very happy. Just like cool. There's no free jump. It's like God of War, sort of, or the old Zeldas, where you'd have to go to a certain platform, and then there'd be a prompt to jump to the next platform, whatever.
All right, no,
remember that.
I feel like at least I thought the cat was really good at. I had no problems with like navigating and jumping and just looking at it and be like, oh, I want to go up there, and I've never had any problems with like the controls or anything like that. I really enjoyed it, and I love that there's a trophy for.
I like it.
Yeah.
Did you get the platinum?
And I love. No, but I did collect all the memories.
Oh yes. Cool.
Yeah, I looked at some of the trophies and some of the trophies were pretty ridiculous, but yeah, there was the trophy for
a nap for an hour.
For an hour, I was like, how good is that? So funny. Like at least like an annoying trophy, but like it makes sense. It's cats. What else we got in here? Okay, we got some big ones. Last of Us Part 1. I finally got the platinum for the Last of Us Part 1. That's been haunting me for the last 10 years.
Is the trophies different
Yes,
compared
they
to the
are.
original? Because you played the original a lot.
Yeah. Well, the original one.
Well, sorry, the PS4.
The PS3 remaster. The reason I don't have the platinum on that is because of their multiplayer. They're online trophies. Oh. Yeah, and so they're just locked to that forever, and I never could get them because I jumped on the train too late to play it again, and just never got the online trophies. But finally got it now for PS5. I'm done. I don't think I need to play that game for a good few years until maybe a part 3.
You good now?
I think I'm
the
good
graphics
now.
Sort of mind blowing for you? Like,
I think
did you notice the difference?
I did. I absolutely did notice a difference, but it's still it's like playing number 2. Like number 2 just sort of looks. It's the same as number 2.
Great, yeah.
It looked fantastic. Yeah. Did you finish part 1 again, or
no?
Did you get to the end?
I literally played Left Behind only because I've only played that once.
Yes, you've listed
and
that. Yes.
I felt like I did like the very first part of part 1 until you're with what's her name? Who's the girl? Not girlfriend. Tess.
Ellie. Tess. Yep.
Tess.
Yep.
You with Tess. I played some of that. Like I had fun, but I just felt like I've done this experience already. Like, and I just wasn't compelled to replay, and because I did not purchase the game, you did. I just feel like, when you purchase something, right? Like you think, oh, I know I want the value out of this. Like I want to get my money's worth.
I'm looking at you, Gotham Knights.
So when Game Pass stuff and PlayStation Plus, sometimes you're like, whatever. Like, doesn't matter.
Yep. Yeah, no, I feel that, but I guess now we got the two big ones. Or do we want to?
Let's do Elden Ring. I feel like we've done another whole podcast about Elden Ring and what that experience was like. The game is incredible. Mm-hmm. Do you think someone can play Elden Ring now? Like now that the hype's not there anymore? Like,
oh, absolutely, yeah.
The buzz wave's gone.
I played it after the wave had sort of gone for the most part. It's sort of the aftermath of it, because I played it 4 months after it came out, maybe a little bit later.
Yeah,
I
guess I was pretty late. I was a bit late too, actually. I think late.
Oh, you weren't super late. I think you just took. I think you just
I
sort
played
of took your
something
time.
else. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but fantastic game. But there's not much more we can say that we haven't already said in our spoiler cast. But what a game!
I think honestly, I am shocked at how much game they built.
It is massive, isn't it? It is just incredible how big that game is. Some of the stuff is as cryptic as Tunic, but you know,
I think towards the end, like the last 15 hours, I'm like, I just want this to be over. But like even those were new experiences or new frustrations or new areas, like totally new areas.
Yep.
Yeah, they could have just done like 1/3. People would have been happy.
People would have been stoked, or even a third, a half. But
what I do think about, like, you know, games like Resident Evil Village, right? Short, 10 hours, you can replay it. What I think, like, I'd love to replay Elden Ring, with, like, you know, a different character build or class or whatever. But like, it's to me, it's too big for that. The game's too big. If there were smaller experiences, I'd be like, cool. Oh, I did this as a mage. Now I want to do it as a sword fighter. Now I want to do it as a tank. Now I want to do it as like a stealth ninja. Like, I feel like that'd be. I wish it was more accessible that way, like smaller
and
bite-sized ways to experience it.
And I totally get what you're saying, and I 100% appreciate it because we're the same type of gamer, I think. But most people aren't. Like, this is a game you could buy and you could be happy with this all year. Like, if this is you're that type of person that can, you just play it over and over and over again. You get a different experience every time, a long one. But we're all like, I'd rather play 10 hours with all the characters than 100 hours with just one.
Yeah,
which is but that's what we did. Which is why we're never going back to it ever. Like, I don't know, maybe 5 years from now we'll be like, I'm gonna go play that Elden Ring game again. But I need to get this off my chest. As much as I loved Elden Ring, you were absolutely right. It does deserve the Game of the Year award. It does absolutely deserve it. It is a fantastic 10 out of 10 masterpiece game. But God of War is better. God of War is better. And it's not just, and that's the thing. I get why people would be thinking that, but it's God of War. It's not just the gameplay. Elden Ring smashes God of War on gameplay and experience. If that's all it's on, but when you include the story and the characters and the voice acting and the music and just everything as a whole package, that's why I think God of War deserves it more. And I was very adamant, like, to myself when I sat down to play God of War, I'm like, this isn't going to be better than Elden Ring. There's no way. I'm not going to. There's no way this is going to be better than Elden Ring. And then it was. By the time I got to the end, I was just like, man, this is so good. This is so good.
I love storytelling as you're playing the game, right?
Yes.
Like, cool. You know, I love games like, cool, we've had this big action, you know, fight thing. And then instead of like a cut scene of characters talking, you're walking to the next place, you're jumping, you're climbing to the next place, and the characters are interacting as you're playing. And so you're enjoying that experience whilst you've still got control of the game, right? And even God of War's, like, oh, you know, there's an extra character, and you're still like, oh, me as the player, I need to get all the loot. I need to check out all the spaces. And even hearing the stories like, oh yeah, Dad just likes to wander off sometimes to get all the loot. Dad really loves loot. Like, you know, just hearing that, like, as a part of the story, and I'm still playing, and I'm still learning about the characters, and then I'm looking forward to that next axe, you know, murder chop, and hearing the next bit of the story at the same time. And obviously, you know, don't spoil it too much because I'm only 1/3 of the way through because life, busy, Japan or whatever. But like, hearing how excited you were about it makes me like, oh, all right, cool. I really have to, like, now that Pokemon's done, and like, I missed the God of War, like, hype. Well, not hype, but like when it came out. But like, I was there for Pokemon and I want to be part of the Pokemon wave. I'm like, cool, done. It's out of the way, out of my system. I'm here for God of War. I got to get through it for Nick.
Oh, well, is it raining near you? You're very, very blurry. I was a little bit worried because I know how we both get sometimes with a big game and a game we know is going to be big. How we're like, oh, just the thought of this long journey, this long mountain we got to climb, like, man, and we're just sort of tired with it, and just that type of thing. I thought you might have that type of fatigue with God of War, but you don't seem to be having that experience so far, I don't think. So I'm excited about that, and I'm glad about that, but it's just, I don't know. As much as I loved Elden Ring, God of War overall as a package with just everything that happened. Like I think I cried like twice playing the game. Like the opening scene got me good. It was like, oh no.
Too real.
And I just because when the scene was over, I put the controller down. I just left the controller there because he was sitting on his little mat just next to the TV, just watching. I was like, "Come here, please come here." And I'm just
come here, buddy. Come on the couch.
I'm just like patting him. I'm like, "Oh God, that day's got to be so far away." Yeah. Man, and everything that happens, I can't wait for you to finish it and for us to do a spoiler cast on it. But it just
soon.
Elden Ring
is
deserves
my priority.
Elden Ring deserves Game of the Year, but God of War overall as a package, just it's unbelievable. It is. I think it is my new favorite game of all time. Like I think it might have overthrown Breath of the Wild, maybe just.
Wow! I look forward to keep going, Nick, and finding this experience for myself.
Yeah,
I think the game, my Game of the Year. Like, it's not Game of the Year, but just Kirby has just made me so happy. I'm happy for that to be totally different. And like, Game of the Year, Kirby, I'm like, your hate for Kirby just makes me love it even more. So
I'm excited.
The lightning's getting bad, Nick. I'm afraid I might lose power or something. So
we'll be okay. If we do, we'll be fine. I am excited to borrow Kirby off of you. Before we go, I still have, 2 more left on the list.
You got Callisto
Sonic
Protocol?
Yeah, Callisto Protocol and Sonic. Look,
yeah,
people, I know Sonic gets a lot of crap. Sonic Frontiers is the best Sonic game I have ever played. If you even remotely enjoy Sonic games, I loved the crap out of it. It's like Breath of the Wild meets Sonic with all of Sonic's weird little quirks and everything, but it's just a big playground. It is the funnest gameplay loop ever.
So you know how in Breath of the Wild there's the shrines or whatever?
Yes.
You told me there's a Sonic Adventure 2 shrine or, bonus level or something. So I'm presuming you're in the overworld and then you find challenge levels or dungeons or whatever you want to call them. Like what is it?
Yes. Yeah, so there's 5 maps, and in each map there's maybe like 6 or 7 little, I guess, shrines you could call them, where you travel to the digital world or whatever it is, and you do, I guess, more traditional Sonic levels, like level based. You got like a minute or 2 to get through, to get from point A to point B, and collecting the little red rings along the way, all that sort of stuff. And yes, all of them are, I think most of them are throwbacks to old Sonic games, or even just like, there's segments of City Escape, there's segments of Metal Harbor, there's segments of the Green Forest from Sonic Adventure 2. Like those, there's the city one at the end where you got the jets and the tanks coming after you. So there's
that sounds cool.
Yeah, there's heaps of segments from Sonic Adventure 2 just sort of like cut into 2-minute bite-sized levels, as well as some 2D ones thrown in there. But the game is just, I need to stress this to you when you get it, because it was a little bit confusing to me with the open world. But you go do a challenge, the challenge reveals the map, and then another challenge will pop up. So you just go do challenge after challenge, and everything in between is just a fun playground of just springs and loops and boosts. And it's like none of it is necessary to collect for the platinum, but you just do your little challenges. No, I didn't collect them all. I literally if you just see it as a playground to just help you navigate through the world and just fun little things to zoom around on. That's all it is. It's just a big open world that's a massive playground with little challenges to do. And I really, 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 really loved Sonic Frontiers. Best Sonic game, and I think it cops a pretty hard rap just because it is Sonic. I think if it was a Mario game and it had these little things in there, it would be maybe forgiven a little bit more. But because it is Sonic, I think people be like, oh, they expect bad, and so they look for bad, if that makes sense. But I loved it, and I can't wait for you to play it, and I hope you like it as well. But
I do want to play. I feel like the last Sonic game I played was Generations, but I can't remember a single thing about it.
Mm.
I do want to play Sonic Colors. I feel like that must be short and must be fun, but Nick,
Nah, you can skip that.
I know you've got Callisto Protocol here, but I feel like
Tired. All right. Well, I'll do 30 seconds of Callisto Protocol. Probably less. It is a spiritual Dead Space successor. It's, you know what? We'll get you interested. It is Punch Out meets Dead Space.
Actually, I heard this Punch Out thing. So that's how you dodge.
Yeah. It's like half melee, half shooty. So like the enemies come up to you and you have to sort of dodge left and right and like learn their patterns and left, right, and then start punching them back. So it's I didn't know that when I bought the game and I didn't expect that, but it is.
Is the story cool?
It's fine. It's voice act. It's everything you sort of expect. It's voice acted really well. It's animated really well. The motion capture is fantastic. It's really great. I'm about 6-7 hours in, and I'm really enjoying it. It's not very scary. I don't think because we've played a bunch of Dead Space before. I'm not really. Maybe I'm just desensitized to all that sort of stuff now. But Callisto Protocol, I'm really enjoying. Now that I've gotten the hang of the combat, the first like hour I wanted to blow my brains out, but just because I was like, "What is?" I didn't expect it to be a melee game, or punch out type game. So. That caught me off guard, but I really enjoy it. I will finish it before the end of the year. Anyway, speaking of the end of the year, that's us.
Nick, I'm just surprised on our list that I sort of put together. You had finished 37 games, and I thought Nick finishes way more games than I did, and I had 35. I'm like, wow. I just wasn't ready for that, but maybe all these small 2-hour Xbox games probably boost.
Maybe, but also, there's things on there. There's things on there that we don't talk about, like how much time we put into Smash Brothers or Pikmin, or just jumping into other stuff again. How much time I put into Marvel Snap, or these little mobile games, and Pokemon Unite. I still play probably another 100 hours of Pokemon Unite this year, so which I'm done with now. I'm done with Pokemon Unite now, thank God. Anyway,
well, Nick, let us
watching.
know. Thank you for listening to us talk about games. We haven't spoken to each other about games like this for a while, so I just wanted to get back to it. So tune in next week or next podcast, Nick. It's gonna be. I'll spoil it for you. It's gonna be. I'll talk about the worst Nintendo games of 2022. I feel like that's a good headline. It's fun to hate, and we'll discover what we can hate in that time frame.
Oh yeah. I want to hate on 1-2 Switch as well.
And actually, Nick, I got an idea. This is a problem. This is 2 40-minute segments. Should it be 2 videos or 1 long video?
Well, let us know in the comments. Maybe we'll get one personal comment and be like, do 1 long one or 2 split ones. But if someone gets this far. But thank you for watching, everyone. Let us know in the comments.
We appreciate you. This is our 1 year. Of not almost, almost 1 year of podcasts. What we did, this is the 33rd episode, so we're nearly
almost one every fortnight.
One every fortnight, more than one every fortnight. So we'll see. Actually, if I boost this, that'll be 2. That'll make it 34.
Oh yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go before I get a blackout.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
Getting crazy.
Love you. We'll see you later. See you next time.
And I love you, Nick, and I love you, audience.
I love you too,
Bye.
Jeff. Bye, everyone.